There was this young girl. She had a whole lot of candies in her hands. And as her brother saw her holding so many candies in the hands, he went to her and said, "Give me some of those candies." And this little girl, she said, "I will give you, in fact, all the candies that I have, on one condition, that you would give to me all the marbles that you have been collecting over time." And the boy, without thinking, he said, "Sure, no problem. I give you all the marbles, you give me all the candies." And so both of them went each to their own rooms and then brought out whatever they had. The boy went into his room and hid some of the marbles, brought the rest of it, and the girl went into her room and took all the candies and brought everything out. And the exchange was made. The girl gave all the candies, the boy gave what he pretended to be all the marbles. After the exchange was made and night came, that night when the boy went to sleep, the whole night he was tossing and turning in his bed. He could not sleep because the whole night he was wondering, did she really give me all the candies? I say that to us, to tell us that because we make promises to God that we do not keep, because we tend to shortchange God, then when we come across passages like Psalm 121 that assures us that God can be trusted to watch over us, we then wonder if those promises could really be trusted. Because we do not keep our promises to God, we think that God also acts in the same way. Because we cannot be trusted, we think that God cannot be trusted either. The psalm before us, Psalm 121, is known as a pilgrim psalm. The writer is one who has experienced God. Here must be a person who has been traveling from wherever he was to Jerusalem to go to the temple there to worship God at least once a year, to keep his vows, to make sacrifices, to offer offerings to God. And as he made these pilgrimages, he experienced God. In his journey, he experienced God. But more than that, it was not just in the journeys from one place to another where he experienced God, but in the journeys of life, in the ups and downs that he experienced in life, he knew that God is a God who could be trusted even as he experienced God. And he knows that God is a God who journeys with him in his life, and that he journeys with God, and that God can be relied upon to guard him. And we learn from this psalm that God is a God who can be relied upon to guard us. In verses 1 and 2, I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. I lift up my eyes to the hills, or I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? You know, as you look at this psalm, as you look at this verse, I lift up my eyes to the hills or to the mountains. The psalmist, as he made his pilgrimages, he's probably walking and looking at those mountains. One reason why he could have been looking at the mountains is because as he passed by, he could have seen some sentries posted there, some soldiers posted there to guard, to watch over the pilgrims as people traveled day and night, coming to Jerusalem to worship God once a year. You know, some kind of protection was offered to them by placing sentries on the hills, on the mountains. And as he looked up, possibly he looked at the mountain to just see whether those sentries are still there. It could also be that as he made these pilgrimages, he was looking at these hills, and in those days, hills were places where there was idol worship. And as he was going to Jerusalem to worship the living God, he looked at the hills, at the mountains, and he saw idol worship. And he says to himself, I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. As he saw all these activities, he's saying that I saw beyond these activities and I focused on God. And rightly so, he focused on God. Verse 2 tells us that my help comes from the Lord. You see, you can read this verse this way. You can understand it this way. Even as he looks at the hills, the mountains, and the idol worship taking place, and sentries and soldiers posted there. But he says that I look beyond all of this, and I focus on God, who is the maker of heaven and earth. Why should my eyes even be fixed on the hills, on the mountains, when I could fix my eyes and focus on the maker of heaven and earth?